our community and our teachers, our students at our schools. We ask that you be with the ones that are going through a difficult time, whether it be sickness or some other form of family emergency that they're going through. Please protect them. Please make them feel safe when they feel unsafe. And we also ask that you make each of us a little bit better every day in a more likeness as yourself. All this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Address the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to our meeting, and we'll kick the meeting off with Ms. Boyle's highlights.
And I will pass it right on to Mrs. Wiggins and Mrs. Spina from Bronson Elementary.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are here tonight to share with you all the events that our students experienced during Literacy Week, the last week of January. I don't know, there we go. Our theme this year, we went with the same theme as the rest of the state, red, white, and blue, celebrating 250 chapters of America. And this was the list of the events throughout the week that we took part in. I'm going to go through each one and talk about what we did, but I did want to talk a little bit about we've always done Celebrate Literacy Week, but we just kind of kept it low key and not really done a whole lot with that. But we got a new reading coach this year, and so I talked to him about really wanting to up our game a little bit with Celebrate Literacy Week and see what we could do, and really with the theme that we had, we felt like that this would be a really good time to let our teachers give them the freedom to do some things in their classrooms that they wouldn't ordinarily do. And we know that these are the types of things that really motivate our teachers and motivate our students to want to learn. And so we felt like that this was a really good time to do that, and let our teachers remember why it was that they wanted to be teachers in the first place. And so some of these activities this week really they were able to do that sort of thing this week. So on the opening day of our celebration, we wanted to make sure that we were celebrating our independence and kind of laying the foundation. So our classrooms, we gave our teachers a lot of different types of resources that they could pull articles and things from, Newsela, however you want to say it, but they were able to choose some age-appropriate resources to read about either the War for Independence or the Declaration of Independence. And then they were also, we let our teachers know what the week was going to look like before we started, and we gave them an opportunity to choose a historical figure or an author, someone who was important to either literacy in America or American history, something that any person who was important in the whole celebration. So they had those activities that they chose that person, and they introduced that person to their students at the beginning of the week, and then throughout the week they went through and did the different activities to go along with that person. So our day 2 was Eagles United, and we are lucky enough to have Avid across the street at Bronson Middle High School, and we have a very good relationship with our teachers across the street, Miss Carol Carlisle. Miss Carol Osteen, and she was Carlisle when she was at Bronson L. But she was able to send some of our students over, and a lot of the students that came over to read to our students at Bronson L were students from Bronson to begin with, and so it was really cool to see the full circle of them coming back to read to our students and to share that importance of why it's good to be a reader. And they came away sharing when they went back and were sharing with Miss Osteen how excited they were to be able to share with the younger students. And so I think it was a great experience overall for everybody that was involved.
There was a lot of really good personal connections made too. A lot of students recognize them from athletic events and things like that. And the high school students were like, oh, I remember so-and-so and I remember this classroom. And so I think it was a really good connection between the younger elementary students and the middle high school Avid students.
On day 3, we were able to have the book bus come from the Levy County Schools Foundation, and our students are so excited about the book bus, all the way from our pre-K students to our, up to our 5th grade students. Everybody's excited about being able to get that book. We have one of our pre-K students. He sees whenever his mom tells us that whenever he sees a smaller bus like that, he always wants to know, is that the book bus? Is that the book bus? So it really does have a really good impact on our students. They remember it, and they remember the great feeling that they get when they get to go and pick out a book. Some of our classrooms actually decided that they wanted their students to all get the same book so that they could come back to the classroom, read that together as a community, as a classroom community, and really study and dig down into those books. And so they were very excited. You can see from the pictures there how excited they were. It was one of the coldest days, but they were so excited to get out there and get their books and then come back to the classroom and sit down and be able to read those, either reading them together or independently. On day 4 was Stars, Stripes, and Stories, and we were able to reach out to the local American Legion post, and some of the veterans came out and came to our classrooms. Chris Haney and then Bear came from the U.S. Army, and she came and read, and then Maddie Connor of the U.S. Airborne, she came and read to some of our. So that was being able to make those connections. The students were able to ask questions, and really build those community relationships with those veterans, and we were very, very honored to be able to have them in our school.
We had a 2nd grade every year puts on a Veterans Day presentation that is extremely special. And one of our takeaways from that Veterans Day program was the folks at the American Legion came to us directly and said, how can we be here more? What can we do? We would love to be involved more. And so this was a perfect segue and a really great theme for the week to also bring them in and have them
What a
read and
great
kind of talk about their
resource.
experiences too. And we're glad that we have community members that want to come in and be a part of our schools.
So then, day 5, what all the week had led up to, this was our culmination. Every classroom became a museum for their person that they chose at the beginning of the week. And so they did all sorts of reading, writing, speaking, and listening about their person. And you can see from all the different, every experience we were able to go through, Miss Mina and I, and Jordan, the reading coach, we were able to go through and see each one of the classrooms on that day and see what was, it ranged from things that were interactive that they wanted us to do. There were some just different exhibits that they showed us through, and then there were Reader's Theater, and then we'll talk about what 4th grade did with their whole thing. But so kindergarten, our next slide is you can see the teachers' classrooms and the persons that they chose: Edie White, Betsy Ross. Miss Free's class decided to. It kind of went into with her. She was doing a theme on winter anyway, and so she decided to just talk about the Winter Olympics and how the United States was represented in the Winter Olympics this year. And then Miss Branch's class did Alexander Graham Bell, and you can see some of the kindergarten writing samples there. When we went into Miss Rogers' class, she had different stations set up that, and students were working on timelines, and they were able to sort different parts of Betsy Ross's life on a timeline. They were able to share with us. Miss Villanueva's class, because it was Edie White, they were being authors that day, and so they had read Charlotte's Web, and so they were writing some stories about Charlotte's Web, their experience with the book. So that was very exciting to see them being so excited about that. In first grade, Miss Styles' class studied Theodore Geisel, then Miss Erin Bula was they took a deep dive into Abraham Lincoln's life, and then Miss Alonso, Margaret Wise Brown, and then Miss Caudle's class studied Benjamin Franklin. You can see it in the upper right-hand corner. That was Miss Erin Bula's class, and her students were the caricatures of President Lincoln, and they had their stovetop pipes and or stovetop hats, and then their beards, and each one of them read facts about Abraham Lincoln's life. There was also Miss Stiles, who we discovered made not an attractive man, but you're a very beautiful lady, but she was Dr. Seuss that day, and so and then over on the right hand side, the left hand side, no, that's the right hand side. Miss Caudle's class, her class, Benjamin Franklin's class, they did a reader's theater, and it was so wonderful. She has all sorts of ranges of readers in her class. It's a first grade class, so she has some that are reading well above grade level, and then she has some that are non-readers yet. But everybody was able to take part in the reader's theater. She used her new line projector in the back. She used that as kind of to set the scene for their different roles and everything. And the one student right there in the front was Ben Franklin, and you can see as his down in the corner, he has the kite, and she's got a storm brewing in the background, and the students were able. Some of the students who weren't taking part in the actual reading, they were thunder, and then we have one little fella who was not. I was kind of worried about him. He was sitting over by the door. He's one of our ones that might get out of pocket a little bit, but he was over by the door, and I kind of kept watching. And then whenever they did the storm, he was the lightning. He was the lightning. And so everybody got to take part, and so they were so very excited to be able to share that with us. In second grade, we had everything, Booker T. Washington, Amelia Earhart, Thomas Edison, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Martin Luther King Jr. And the second grade teachers really took the idea of a museum to heart, and they really set up their classrooms. They had different areas of the classroom that were different types of exhibits, and you could tell that the kids had worked all week long practicing, so that when we came in, they were able to show us that they everything that they had done. There was so much writing that they had done, so much reading. They took it that they had listened to different stories or different articles about their person, and so they were able to tell us all about whoever their figure was. And a couple of classrooms that we walked into, as soon as they knew we were coming, and they were waiting, and so as soon as we opened the door, there was a student there. The teacher said not a word. The students did every bit of it, and these are second graders. We walked in, and she shook our hand. She told us what we were doing. She took us to each area of the classroom, and then the students there were able to read what they had, whether they had done. Some of them had written pamphlets. They had written stories, all sorts of different things there. So they were very, very proud to be able to show us what they had done.
One of my favorite things about being able to go around to the different grade levels in classrooms was the creative freedom that we saw that students were given to be able to create their different mediums of what they were presenting in their exhibits. There were science experiments, and there were student created murals and sculptures that they made. And so a lot of times we don't get to do those fun things where students are given that creative outlet, and
So much learning was integrated into
oh my gosh, yes, and students presenting back to us, and it wasn't just one or two students in the classroom. Every student was held accountable for presenting that information that they had learned.
In third grade, you can see there are lots of different, all the different folks that they studied. But I really want to bring attention to Robin Romagnolo's class. Rosa Parks. And one thing that stood out to me, I know that Kaylee and I both were kind of crying whenever we left out of
It was
there.
beautiful.
They showed us what all they had done, but then they had a roundtable discussion where they were able to share out something that was meaningful to them about what they had learned. And one of our students who shared was when she came to Bronson Elementary School, she came from Venezuela and she spoke no English whatsoever. And she just shared about her experience and compared herself to Rosa Parks and being able to stand up for freedom and where she had come from. She recognized she had a very, very traumatic experience coming to our country, and it just was very, very moving to us to see where she came from and where she is now and how much she has grown and just the how she expressed
the
herself.
connections that she made between herself and Rosa Parks, and her bravery and her courage, and just listening to her express that in the English language that she's acquired since she's been here at BES was a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Wonderful.
It's one of those reminders that reminds you why you do what you do and why you teach every baby that comes to you.
Our fourth grade group, they banded together and they studied A Land Remembered, and they throughout the week as they were they had started reading the book earlier in the month, and so they finished it up that week, and they came together all as one, and they were watching the Florida Cattle Drive, and they tuned into that several different times throughout the week. And then they did all sorts of different activities that went along with Pioneers of Florida. And down at the bottom, you could see some of the games that the Pioneer children might have played. They watched some of the like syrup making and corn grinding, all sorts of different activities that they participated in throughout the week. And we had planned on being able to have it outside underneath our covered play area, but it was just too cold, and so we ended up having to move it last minute into the library. But they made butter that day. They ate swamp cabbage. They did all sorts of different things that Pioneers or the Florida Pioneers would have been able to do, and so the students loved it, obviously. In fifth grade, our students, they studied, I wanted to point out Mr. Vogel's class. He had his students really digging into, they read on W.E.B. Du Bois, and then also they studied Booker T. Washington, and they had to, based on what they read, they had to choose a side to debate who they believed was the most who did the most to support the advancement of Black people, and so they had that back and forth debate that day, and so they really were able to pull out a lot of their AVID strategies, and after they had read, and then they're supporting their thoughts with what they had learned. Let's see. What we learned from this was that we really wanted our parents to be able to see it. Ms. Boyle, you mentioned Donuts with Grown-Ups, and so that was the following. This was one Friday, and then the following Friday was Donuts with Grown-Ups, and so a lot of the teachers had left their things up in their classroom, so parents and families were able to come in and see that. And we really, what we usually do is we have, in December, we have our big literacy event. But we've noticed that this year we were competing with a lot of things that were going on in December. So we felt like that this opened up, say, if we were going to do something like this and really make it meaningful and have our students be able to share with more than just us, that be able to have that, do our big literacy event at the culmination of this week, and so that we would have something where our parents would be able to come in and actually see the things that their students are presenting and what all they've learned, and be able to really show off to more than just Miss Newman. So that was our week, and we were very, very eager to share all of those kinds of things with you guys tonight. So
Looks like y'all had a great week.
we really did.
Busy
Great,
week.
busy week.
Busy, but fun-filled and meaningful. But we need those little moments to carry us too. So when we get in, we get to see what the kids are doing and what they're presenting and what they're learning.
But you know what? The kids probably learned more in that 1 week doing all that creative stuff and those hands-on activities and sharing with others. I love what the 5th grade did. That sounds like the debates that we had great books. Do you remember that,
I do.
Marlene? They had to do that, and those are skills that these kids need to develop.
Right.
And
I was really impressed with when they were debating on who they thought was, did more for the advancement. The amount of knowledge that they had learned and that they could then just spit back out. It was really detailed. You could tell that it was really impactful to them.
they were engaged.
They were engaged, truly engaged. It was great.
I think sometimes we get lost in all the things that we have to do, that we forget that these kinds of things are, these are what makes kids want to come to school.
That's right.
100%.
Those should be
And be
important.
engaged.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Next on the agenda, Ms. Wade.
I'm doing double duty tonight. For
Triple.
everybody's sake.
You can, either
So
way.
it's hard to believe, but we are, sorry, we're talking about the 26-27 school year. It's crazy to believe that, but that's where we are. So we met as a calendar committee a few weeks ago. We had 2 calendars. I think you probably have both of them. Okay.
Yes.
So the difference was really spring break. Before we met as a committee, we sent out a survey to the staff members to get what they liked about the current calendar, pros and cons. Mostly it had to do with returning to work on a Friday in August, and then after Christmas break coming back on a Friday. But sometimes it just works out that way with testing, FTE week, survey weeks, and everybody wanting out before Memorial Day or before June. So it just is very difficult. So we put out a vote, the staff voted, pretty big difference. Calendar A got about 78% approval vote, and then B was like 22%. So I am looking for a motion and a recommendation and approval of calendar A for the 26-27 school year. Or any questions, if you have any questions, sorry, should ask questions.
Any questions?
No, I'm happy that it was A.
I know.
Us too.
Yeah. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Wade. And next on the agenda, we have Mr. McKellen. Right?
CTE materials.
Yeah. CTE. Mr. McClellan?
It's
Instructional materials.
Instructional
it's
materials for
adoption for
CTE?
CTE, is that you?
Was she supposed to move that till next week because she was, okay,
Okay, all right.
all right.
That's okay. I'm like, Matt, are you here?
Do we have to do,
Do we need to move that, table that till next meeting?
We adopted the agenda.
we adopted it, yes.
All right, so I move to table that until the next meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Sorry. Moving on. Public comments. We have none. Did we have any emails, Ms. Wade?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And I need a motion to approve the minutes.
Nope.
Nope.
Here's a side
I'm
note.
sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Do we have any questions on the consent agenda? Going down the line. Seeing none, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The minutes will be moved to next week.
And the minutes will be moved to next week.
Do you have to do a motion to?
Table the minutes.
Well, we didn't have any really to present, so I think it's okay. We can just address it.
Moving right along. Superintendent comments.
Consent, I'm sorry.
We passed it.
Okay. All right. Just some quick shout outs. Mr. Whitehurst isn't here this afternoon, so I wanted to say congratulations to Williston girls, boys basketball, and then the Williston soccer team will move on to the regionals. Wanted to remind everyone of the Beast Feast coming up on the 21st, and normally we have sponsored a table. I want to make sure everybody is still okay with that, and doing some venison and then lobster mac and cheese. That's still good. If you will be on the lookout for Val and Sal, I won't ruin anybody's thunder right now, I'm not saying any names, but look out for those, and there's
Be on the
announcements.
lookout
Valedictorian salute.
for what? Oh, yeah. I saw
can I go back to
Bronson's
the-
announcement.
Bronson's is up there.
Yes.
Yes.
At the comments, maybe?
Okay.
Okay. And actually, I think that is it for me.
Okay. Mr. Asbell, do you want to start us off? Board comments?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I'll be quick, I'll be brief. The congratulations to our valedictorian and our salutatorian. Our valedictorian from Bronson is Carson Meeks.
Of course.
And our salutatorian is Maddie Stewart, two fantastic kids. And I'd like to invite everybody the opportunity to meet our valedictorian and our salutatorian on February 27th at the Bronson FFA Alumni Food Fest and Cake Auction, which will be held at the Baptist Church here in town. It's the 23rd annual one of those. It is the #1 fundraiser of the year for the Bronson FFA alumni. Money raised primarily goes for scholarships for kids like Maddie and Carson to continue their education, and that scholarship has been in existence now in excess of 40 years,
Wow.
and has helped a lot of kids advance their education. We've grown it over the years through the help of local folks by supporting that one event, and we appreciate it. And if you need tickets, I got some, Emily Rudder's got some, you can see several people here at the county office. Sarah's got some, they're dispersed everywhere. $20 a piece, local delicious delicacies, and
It is good.
very good, and a good time had by all, generally. And that's all I got, and I don't be quiet.
Thank you.
It's been cold, and I'm glad it's gonna quit.
Thank you. Ms. Campbell?
Well, I wanted to compliment Bronson School. That was a wonderful presentation. What I liked about it was that it involved everyone. The administrators encouraging the teachers then motivating the kids, and it was a great way to spend literacy week. It was really exemplary. I'm looking forward to the Wild Beast Feast. I've never attended, so this is my first experience. And baseball and softball is starting up, and there's a softball game on the Bronson Field at 7 o'clock, which I am going to be able to make. Happy to say that. And I've been volunteering at Chiefland Elementary School and Cedar Key School, and it has been wonderful. I love working with the kids, and teachers have been very welcoming to the house.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Ms. Baxter?
Well, at Chiefland Elementary, they had a successful book fair last week and open house on Thursday night, and the volunteers have started, and we're so appreciative of Ms. Campbell coming to help with that. I start next week. At the high school, we have 6 girls that are going to the state weightlifting meet, and softball and baseball, as you say, have started, and we had our first game last night. And that was a great presentation. That's all I have.
I don't have a lot. Literacy night, Literacy Week was great at Yankeetown. The Florida Tax Watch organization honored Dee Westfall last week, and for her principal leadership, which has been amazing, as we all know. And because of that, Dee was able to choose an 8th grader, Nathan Creamer, who was able to receive 2 years of free college tuition. So it was, it was an amazing ceremony. So proud of Miss Westfall and Nathan. It was a great meeting or celebration. And I hope everyone in our district office gets well soon. Everybody's out, so thank you for the grace given of this meeting tonight. We had a couple of, thank you to Ms. Wade for filling in. You did a great job. And if we don't have anything else to discuss, meeting adjourned.
Thank